He's late. Look, that's him. Red hat, blue coat. I am Shikako. This is Suzuki-san. Suzuki-san? Watanabe-san? I'm Mori-san. I'm afraid I am the only one who speaks English well.
Pleased to meet you, Mrs. San. Can I help you?
We would like to go on the house tour now. We wish to see how people live in traditional English houses.
Oh, really? I know some English people, and they even live in English houses. But why are you asking me?
Our tour guide is to be wearing a red hat and blue coat.
Well, that certainly sounds like me. Paddington Brown is my name, and I'd be honoured to take you on a tour. Since coming here from darkest Peru, I've made a very thorough study of the neighbourhood. I can show you just how English people live.
That's odd. There's no one here. 1 p.m, Portobello Road. 5 Japanese toys for the English House and Tea Tour. I'll just have to find them. Maybe they're waiting at another corner.
See the traditional mousetrap in the corner with a little piece of cheese in it? The truth is that mice prefer peanuts.
Paddington? Please wipe your feet.
Allow me to introduce Mrs. Bird. She's a traditional English housekeeper. And here are the very English Mr. and Mrs. Brown.
Paddington, who are your guests?
These are my new friends, Mrs. Bird. I'm just giving them a tour.
Oh.
Hello.
How do you do?
Nice to meet you.
And this is a traditional banister. All English houses seem to have them, and it's very good for sliding down.
It's very strange of Paddington to bring home some friends unannounced.
Well, whoever they are, they certainly have very good manners.
Mrs. Bird, Mr. and Mrs. Brown, you have a lovely home. We heard English houses were cold and drafty.
There's a house like that next door.
And a crusty old English gentleman to go with it.
That sounds wonderful.
This is Mr. Curry. That's Mr. Curry's house.
What's this, Bear? A tour?
Yes, I'm showing these tourists from Japan how English people live.
We're on the Red Hat English House and Tea Tour. Paddington-san is an excellent tour guide. He is worth every pound.
Every pound?
Is this where we will have our English tea?
But of course! Welcome to 34 Windsor Gardens, authentic English bed and breakfast. That'll be £40 each for the night, including tea.
Mr. Curry doesn't have a refrigerator, but he does have one of these. He has to put ice in it every day to keep the food cool. It's not very traditional, just strange.
Excuse me, Paddington-san. Will we be having our English tea now?
Yes! Paddington-san is just about to get everything ready. Now, why don't I show you my collection of rare books? Bear, make our guests their tea.
Aunt Lucy always said that guests come first, so I don't think the Browns will mind if I borrow a few things.
More tea, dear.
Yes, please. What the... Oh! Watch where you're going! By the way, Bear, we'll need some cake for our tea.
Mr. Curry's quite right for once.
Curry-san, we would like to freshen up before tea.
Mind you don't use up all the hot water.
May we please have some towels?
Where did the cake go? I'm sure I left it right here.
Where's my towel?
It's almost ready, Mr. Curry, but Mrs. Bird always serves tea on a lace tablecloth. Perhaps I could borrow hers.
There's no time, Bear. Just serve the tea. I'll tell them it's ready.
Tea is served.
My antique chairs!
us, Mr. Curry. In Japan, we are accustomed to sitting on floor.
Perhaps you'd like to experience an outdoor tour of England for a while.
We could visit my friend, Mr. Gruber. He owns an antique shop.
And they are staying with you?
Yes, and you should be happy I'm not discussing my percentage if they buy anything.
Suzuki-san wants to buy that coronation plate for his wife.
It's a fine piece. I'm sure she will enjoy it. Arigato.
I didn't know you spoke Japanese, Mr. Gruber.
I like to make my customers feel at home, Mr. Brown.
I've been looking all over for you. If we hurry, we can finish the tour before dark.
Oh, you must be replacing the other guide, but we would have liked to thank him. He was most helpful.
No, wait!
Ah, good. They've gone.
But I didn't have a chance to say goodbye.
£40 times 5, that's 200. Not bad for an afternoon's work. Ah, Bear! You've come to pay me back the cost of repairing the antique chairs.
Mr. Curry, your guests are back.
Thank you for our tour this morning, Paddington-san. And Curry-san, would you mind bringing in the luggage?
You'll need a red hat from now on, Mr. Curry. You can borrow mine if you promise to take care of it.
Curry-san, is there any of that cake left? And Mori-san wonders if he can sleep in the big bed.
Bear!
Paddington, dinner's ready.
Coming, Mrs. Bird.
It looks as though you're enjoying your new kite, Paddington.
It's very good value, especially when the wind blows.
Well, be careful. What goes up doesn't always come back down.
Where's my kite?
What are you doing, Bear?
Have you seen my kite, Mr. Curry?
What kite?
It cost me a week's bun money, and it's vanished. I'll have to tell Mrs. Bird that what goes up can also disappear.
A bat! Help! Ow! Ah! Get me the police, the fire brigade, the zoo, the army! This is an emergency!
What's happening at Mr. Curry's house?
Are you all right, Mr. Curry?
It was terrible. I was attacked by the most hideous of creatures. It was a...
It's a kite, sir. Only a kite.
You found it! Fancy calling the police and the fire brigade to help me find my kite. That was very kind of you, Mr. Curry. Thank you.
Ah, this is all that bear's fault. Him and his tricks.
You're not the first to get taken in today, sir. And I dare say you won't be the last.
After all, it is April Fool's Day, mate.
April Fools! Why, that bear, he'll be sorry. He won't get the best of Reginald Curry. Two can play this game.
That should do the trick. Now, what goes up can't fly away.
Bear!
What's the matter, Mr. Curry? Have you seen another bat?
I've pulled a muscle in my leg, Bear. I need your help. Listen, Bear. There's a brown box in the attic with a red box inside. Can you go up there and find it for me? It's very important.
Certainly, Mr. Curry.
And could you do a bit of a clean-up while you're looking for it, Bear? I'd do it myself, but my injury...
No red box in this one either. I looked in every single box, Mr. Curry, but I didn't find a red one anywhere. Is your leg all better now, Mr. Curry?
The pain comes and goes, Bear. Comes and goes. I remember now. That red box isn't in the attic. It's in the cellar.
There's no red box in the cellar either, Mr. Curry.
No red box! April Fool, Bear! I got you back good and proper. April Fool!
What's an April Fool, Mr. Curry?
What's an April Fool? As if you didn't know, Bear.
April Fool's Day is when you're allowed to play tricks on people, Mr. Brown.
What does that have to do with Mr. Curry's red box?
I'm afraid Mr. Curry sent you on a fool's errand, asking you to look for something that was never there.
You mean people can tell lies on April Fool's Day?
That's right, Mr. Brown. Little white lies. But everything returns to normal at 12 noon.
It's only 11 o'clock. That means there'll be another hour of all this.
Don't leave yet, Mr. Brown. I have some very exciting news for you.
Wait a minute. That Bear's no fool. He is going to get back at me. Well, I'll be ready for him.
Mrs. James won the lottery. She's Mr. Gruber's very best client. And because she's so wealthy, she's decided to share her winnings.
With anyone who shows up at the shop?
That's right. Between 11:30 and noon.
Then we'd better hurry.
What's this about sharing lottery winnings, Bear?
Wouldn't you like to know, Mr. Curry?
Mrs. James is going to be at Mr. Gruber's shop, and anyone who shows up is going to get £20.
I've had enough of your tricks for one day, Bear.
What tricks, Mr. Curry?
And I'm surprised at you, Mrs. Bird, trying to help him work another one.
Paddington is not the sort of bear to play silly April Fool's tricks. However, it doesn't take much effort to make you look like a fool, Mr. Curry. Come along, Paddington.
That bear can't trick me. So, you're all in on that bear's trick. Well, you won't fool me. No, sir. I'm smarter than a lot of you combined. Wait a minute. Since his trick didn't work, he might try again.
Would you believe it? £20!
Here you are, Mr. Brown.
Thank you very much, Mrs. James. I hope you win the lottery many more times. Mrs. James is a very nice lady.
She certainly is. Look at all these smiling people.
Move aside. Out of my way. Open up! I want my £20.
It's 12 o'clock, Mr. Curry. You're too late.
Too late. I thought this was another of your April Fool's tricks.
Oh, no, Mr. Curry. I would never play a trick on you.
Now listen here, Bear. You tricked me all right. Tricked me with your silly kite.
But, Mr. Curry, I lost my kite and you found it.
Nonsense. You tricked me and I tricked you back. Then you told the truth about Mrs. James. But you knew I wouldn't believe you.
I suppose in the end, even though I didn't mean to, I did trick you, Mr. Curry.
You certainly did, Bear. And for that, I am entitled to your £20.
I'm not an April Fool, Mr. Curry. It sounds as though Mr. Gruber has a new shop bell. Fancy leaving a stepladder lying there. It might cause an accident.
Thank goodness, Mr. Brown.
Mr. Gruber?
Up here, Mr. Brown. I was dusting when the ladder somehow came out from under me. Very unlucky, if you ask me. Although it's not surprising, considering what day it is.
Friday?
It's no ordinary Friday, Mr. Brown. It's Friday the 13th.
Is it your birthday, Mr. Gruber?
No, Mr. Brown. According to the Encyclopedia of Superstitions, many people consider Friday the 13th to be the unluckiest day of the year.
Encyclopedia of Superstitions? It's a good thing I called in at Mr. Gruber's shop. Imagine not knowing about the unluckiest day of the year, or about lifting your feet crossing water. or about the right side to get out of bed.
A lucky penny.
Watch out! According to the Encyclopedia of Superstitions, a penny is only lucky if it's heads up. Heads down means bad luck, so I wouldn't touch it if I were you.
Blimey, that was a close shave. It's tails. Thanks for warning me, mate. In my job, you need eyes in the back of your head.
You're very welcome.
See what I mean?
I don't know how I've survived as long as I have. There are so many superstitions to watch out for. Look out! It's very bad luck to walk under a ladder.
And I have to be extra careful in my new suit. Oh, don't really.
I have to get back to Windsor Gardens and warn the Browns to take cover. It's a superstition minefield out here. Hello, Mr. Curry. What are you doing?
Well, not that it's any of your business, Bear, but I'm building a cold frame so I can grow my own vegetables. I'll save a fortune by not shopping at the supermarket.
Careful, Mr. Curry. According to the Encyclopedia of Superstitions, it's very bad luck to kill one of these.
Always filling your head with claptrap. Superstitions have no place in the civilized world.
Watch out! Black cat!
What? Who?
I'm afraid I was too late to stop the disaster, Mr. Curry.
I'll say! Who's going to pay for my front window?
It's lucky I found this whistle. Now perhaps I'll be able to warn people of any bad luck in time. Don't move! It's very bad luck to step on a crack.
You've got to be joking, Paddington. We won't be able to move then.
That's what it says in Mr. Gruber's book.
Still on patrol, Paddington?
Vigilance is the watchword, Mrs. Bird.
Well, just you mind you don't wear a hole in the carpet.
Careful, no crossing on the stairs.
What? Whoa! Oh, thank goodness, Mrs. B.
Paddington, you might have caused a nasty accident. I thought you were supposed to be preventing bad luck.
It's not my fault, Mrs. Bird. The bad luck's everywhere. See, you even spilt some salt. That's almost as bad as breaking a mirror. But don't worry, throwing some over your shoulder will make things come right again.
That doesn't make me feel safe at all.
That bear should pay for my window. After all, he is the reason I broke it.
Careful, Mr. Curry. It's bad luck to sweep over the threshold. You're sweeping away your good fortune.
You don't have to tell me, Bear.
You're not having much luck with that window, Mr. Curry. Perhaps you ought to pat your head 7 times.
7's a lucky number, eh? What about the number 3?
I don't know if 3's lucky or unlucky.
Well, you've got 3 seconds to clear off before you find out.
In spite of the fact that Paddington is right, let's get on with cleaning the windows. This is turning into the unluckiest day ever.
I hope you're not starting to believe this superstitious nonsense, Henry.
Friday the 13th is tougher than I thought. The Browns have had nothing but bad luck since I got home, so it's time to switch to Plan B. Lucky Charms. This bell will scare off bad luck. And this rabbit's foot should work like a charm. Although it wasn't very lucky for the rabbit. Now, all I have to do is take my lucky horseshoe. I hope all the luck hasn't drained out.
Careful, Henry. We don't want any more accidents.
Then you'd better look out for Paddington.
Henry, are you all right?
Don't worry, everyone. This should start working soon, and the spell of bad luck at Windsor Gardens will be over. I might share some good luck with Mr. Curry.
Rather him than us.
Well, 3rd time lucky. If I didn't know better, I'd say that bear was onto something.
Hello, Mr. Curry. I see you've mended your window.
Don't come any closer, Bear. I've used up all the glass from my cold frame. I can't afford any more accidents.
That's why I've come to offer you this lucky horseshoe.
Horseshoe, eh? Well, how does it work?
Well, you make a wish and throw it over your left shoulder without looking back.
Maybe I can charge people to use it to offset the cost of my repairs.
I don't know about that, Mr. Curry.
Nonsense! It's a smashing idea. In fact, that's what I'll wish for. Bear!
I'll be in my room where it's safe.
I think Paddington staying in his room is the best luck we could have on Friday the 13th.